Looking to start a save with Newcastle United in FM20 without absolutely no idea where to start? Well, this is the sort of content for you. Hello there, folks. It is Toby from TIJ Gaming, and welcome to my Football Manager 2020 team guide for Newcastle United, the Magpies. Very big club, huge club, of course, founded in 1892. Has had 2 years back in the Premier League after winning the Championship, and to be fair, have done pretty well. 10th and 13th. They were struggling in both of those seasons, but recovered very nicely to 10th and 13th with Rafa Benitez in charge. Now Steve Bruce in charge, or of course, it could be you on Football Manager 2020. But in this short 10-15 minute video, we're going to be going through various elements of FM20, which will hopefully help you guys to make your start with Newcastle a little bit better. And we're going to start with the club vision to look at what Newcastle want to do in the future. And we're going to start from the bottom, because this is a big thing, that Mike Ashley, of course, is looking to sell the club. Yeah, I don't think that's going to affect you too much, to be honest. I think that in-game, Mike Ashley will sell the club a lot quicker than he will in real life. It just happens that way, I think, in-game. The club will be sold quite quickly, but I don't think it should make too much difference to you, as long as it happens quite quickly. I found after a few years at clubs, when there's a takeover that happens, you could be ousted. But I think if it takes place quite quickly and you're doing fairly well, you shouldn't have to worry about that at all. But it is a bit of a concern, but it shouldn't matter too much. But 4 objectives as part of the club culture outside of the 5-year plan. That is to sign players under the age of 23 or 22 for the future and the first team, and also not to sign players over the age of 20. So to sign players between the age of 22 and 30, and also to play attacking football, although this is only a favoured objective from the club, so that means that it's only a 1 out of 4. If you want to play defensive football, then so be it. But in the required section in the 5-year plan, we have got the ongoing objectives to work with in the wage budget. Again, that's not a surprise. That happens with every Premier League club. And also to finish mid-table is a requirement this year, which pretty much means between sort of about 8th or 9th and 14th and 15th. But I think to be on the safe side, you're looking on being sort of, I'd say, 11th or 12th or above. Something I think Newcastle could do. It's going to be a struggle because they could go down. It's not the best squad in the world, but they could also do very well as well, depending on who you sign, depending on how you play, all that sort of stuff. But reaching the 5th round of the FA Cup is a desired objective as well. That means to get to the last 16, and also it's a favoured objective to reach the last 32 of the AFL Cup. So nothing too tricky there. I think probably finishing mid-table is a tough objective for Newcastle, but given that there's only really one competition to focus on, it should be an objective that is certainly achievable, or smart if we want to get all technical and fancy with that terminology. But let's have a look now at the transfers in and out. It's fair to say that Newcastle have spent a bit this summer after not really getting the backing for Rafa Benitez under Mike Ashley. But the big signing is Joe Linton, who, funnily enough, somebody said I quite like this. He thought was a striker from Barnsley, but there you go, good old Joe Linton. But anyway, he's come from Hoffenheim for £36 million. Interestingly, more than Roberto Firmino cost Liverpool. Yeah, that just shows how transfer prices have skyrocketed. But if we compare him to Andy Carroll, for instance, Andy Carroll, of course, is a lot better in the aerial areas. There you go. But Joe Linton, he looks like a good player. He's got a lot more speed, physicals, visions, etc, etc. But he looks like a good player, but he has cost them a bit of an arm and a leg, in my opinion. They've also brought in Alan St. Maximim as a winger, can play on either side, looks pretty decent. Apologies about my phone pinging there, but hopefully you didn't hear that. And it's pinging again. You watch, I'll get an onslaught of these messages now, and I didn't put my phone on silent before. Anyway, he's played at Nice, Monaco. He's really played in France, apart from a season in Germany in the past. Signed for Nice a few years ago. He's a bit of an unknown quantity, I would say. I've never heard of him before. Also, Emil Kraft has come in as a right-back. He seems to be the best right-back at the club, but only a leading player for championship sides, it seems. But a bit of room to improve in the future, and who knows, he's a new player to the club, so might impress more than you think. And a very good signing here, only a loan signing, but somebody who I personally think you should get as a permanent signing, and that is Jetro Willems. Of course, he's played for PSV in the past, is at Frankfurt at the moment, but crucially doesn't want to play for Frankfurt, so I think that he'd be a good signing. Very good player on the left-hand side. As you can see, he's extremely interested in joining the club. The estimated cost wouldn't be too much, and I think he'd be a very good player to snap up at the end of the season. But by all means, potentially leave to the end of the season, or try to sign him straight away. In terms of the outs, though, the big out is Jose Perez. He's gone to Leicester City. You're going to miss him quite a bit up front, in my opinion. And Joselu has also gone to Alaves, another one of the strikers. But apart from that, a few loans, a few free transfers. Mo Diarme has gone. That might be a bit of a dent in the midfield, but nevertheless, not too bad. So let's have a look at the tactic I've picked out for Newcastle. Now, I've gone with something a little bit different that I haven't gone for all the time so far, and that is a 4-3-2-1 formation with Dubravka in goal. Not really a surprise. The two new signings on the wing-backs, which is Kraft and Willems, with Fabian Schär and Jamal Lascelles in the middle of defence. Again, Lascelles can be a very important player. I'm sure he's the captain, isn't he, Lascelles? Yes, he is. And Lascelles, very solid player. Got room to improve in the future as well. Only the age of 25. Fabian Schär, a little bit older, but a regular starter in his prime years. A very good central defence there. Even though I think I have noted down their centre defence is lacking in terms of depth a little bit. Is it central defence or is it left back? I'll soon find. Oh, yeah, it's left back, not central defence. That's right. But central defence, they're actually pretty good if you look. They've got Fabian Schär, Lejeune, Lascelles, Fernandez, and Kieran Clark, who can all play centre back, and they're all pretty good players. They're not going to set the world on fire, but all certainly fairly good players. You've got Kraft at right back, who's again a decent player, and Willems at left back. You've got Longstaff, Hayden, and Shelvey in the midfield. Shelvey being the more attacking player, of course. Longstaff being the youngster. I think it was Sean, wasn't it, the player who's playing here? Who scored against Manchester United in the win. But as you can see, a very, very, very good potential ability. I don't know how good his brother's going to be. I don't know if he's here. Where's his brother? Where's his brother again? That's going off. I can't find his brother. Maybe he might be out on loan or something like that. Or he might be... No, he's got to be here somewhere. Where are you? Where are you, Longstaff? Let's find this out while we do this. I know it's a little bit unprofessional and unformed, but let's find out. Matty Longstaff, there we go. In the under-23s. Actually, I think it was him who scored. Oh, for goodness sake, shut up. And after that, a bit of a behind-the-scenes feature there, we can carry on. But Matty Longstaff, yeah, I think he was the player who scored. We're going to promote him to the senior squad, actually, because he's a decent player. And again, both of those brothers look very good for the future for Newcastle. We've got Saint-Maximin, the new signing, and Almiron on the wings with the new signing Joe Linton up front. But again, up front, you've got Andy Carroll and you've got Dwight Gale. Again, Andy Carroll, an interesting one. Of course, he's gone back to Newcastle on a free transfer. I think it's a good signing for Newcastle, to be honest. A solid player, but Joe Linton, he could be a 30-goal-a-season striker, might well flatter to deceive, in which you've got Carroll on the bench. I don't think Carroll's a bad player. There's goals coming from these wingers, I'd say, and there are players who can score goals on the bench, but perhaps in the future you might want to look to sign any attacking options. But for me at the moment, it's not a massive problem. I have recommended a few strikers that you could sign, but again, at the moment, it's not a massive problem. We've got on cautious as well for the mentality. I think that's quite important because I think that if you play counter-attacking football with Newcastle, I think you will do well. It's quite a defensive side, a side that has struggled in previous years, but I don't think you'll do all too badly. So let's have a look at these suggestions that I've put forward for transfers. If we look at the shortlist, we've got 2 strikers I've suggested. Now, these are just names that I've just thought of, really, out of my head in the 5-10 minutes prep I've had for this. And Jack Marriott's the first one, the age of 24, of course, coming from League 1 and League 2, and even the National League. And he's a decent player for Derby in the Championship. I think he's got room to improve. And I think that, I don't know, I think he'd be about as good as Dwight Gale, if not better than Dwight Gale. Dwight Gale's a definite Championship player, but he's 5 years older. As you can see, Jack Marriott's kind of about the same real stats-wise with Dwight Gale. But, of course, Jack Marriott's still got the time to improve. So, I think that Jack Marriott could be a better player. I think it'd be a pretty good signing for you as well. And I don't think it would cost the world to bring him in, but depends, I suppose, how he plays with Derby. And also, Alfredo Morelos could be an interesting one as well, of course, plays for Rangers. And I say that because he's not going to cost you the world either. He's coming from Scotland, and he has got a preference to play in the Premier League long term. So that would be one that you could potentially bring in. But again, those are only really suggestions. And we've also got left-back that's a little bit of a problem in my book. If we look at left-back, we have got Willems, which of course is on loan. But apart from Paul Dunn, we've got Lazaro, who could come in the future. But there's not really much hope at left-back, particularly if Willems isn't signed. So, 2 suggestions I've got here. We've got Juan Lucarita, who plays for Freiburg, a very good player. Certainly good potential anyway. He's just joined Freiburg, though, so you might have to wait potentially 12 months to sign him. Only valued at 2.1 million as well, so shouldn't cost you the world. And Luke Daly, only 17, but apparently is meant to be one of the best wonder kids in the game. And obviously from Huddersfield on a youth deal, 28 grand. If you could bring him in, he would be a very good player for you. I know it's only in the pipeline for the real long future, but it's going to be a few years yet anyway before the likes of Paul Dummett go out of business, especially if you sign Jetro Willems. But Luke Daly, obviously the cheapest one there. But that is my transfer suggestions list, really, with the left back and strike. You've also got a little bit of problem at right back, I would say, as well. A similar thing, really, to left back. You've got Kraft, Mankillo and Yedlin that aren't really going to set the world on fire. But I think Jamie Sterry should be a good player. Then only a potential ability of 2.5 stars, but I do think he'll probably be a little bit better than that. He has performed well in training lately. I think he's probably got a good work ethic. I mean, 13, it's not fantastic, but grouped with determination of 16, who knows? He might overperform, he might underperform, and you might have to sign a right back. But at the moment, I think your right back should just be okay. Let's have a quick look at dynamics then before we finish off. We've got 3 team leaders, and for the first time in any of these team guides, none of them are going to be retiring in the next few years. That is a real relief. So you've got Lascelles, Shelvey and Colback. No dynamics problems for me. You've got a big core social group. Yeah, nothing to really report on dynamics. I think that looks very good at the moment, but obviously don't upset Lascelles, Shelvey or Jack Colback. Jack Colback, though, is transfer listed, so that might be a bit of a worrying sign. But it's really at your discretion whether you want to get rid of Jack Colback. I'd advise not to, being a team leader, but whatever you want to do. And then finally, before we finish off, let's have a quick look at the development centre, which is going to be a big screen in FM20, which shows you players that are first-team candidates, so those that are in your under-23 or under-18 squad that could move into the first team, and also your ones to watch, players that are out on loan or in the youth team that you might want to watch in the future. And that's going to be a big screen, particularly if you want to promote your players from the youth system for the first team. But that, in just a quick 10-minute video, is really all I can say. It's as detailed but brief as possible, and that's exactly what these team guides aim to be. But if you have enjoyed that and found it beneficial, make sure you leave a like down below and comment if you enjoyed as well. And make sure to, if you've got any stories concerning Newcastle, providing, I don't know what it's got to do with concerning, but I will. Any stories concerning Newcastle in terms of your save, what your plans are, what your transfers have been, etc., etc., please leave them down in the comments. I'd love to hear them. But apart from that, as I said, if you've enjoyed, please leave a like. I've got daily FM20 content coming out on the beta with my Liverpool beta save, as well as the team guides for the 20 Premier League clubs. And if you have enjoyed this, you will certainly enjoy the rest of my content. But if you did enjoy that, leave a like down below. Thank you very much for your company today, and I will see you guys later on. Goodbye for now.